sets are empty, like dirt turned to dark of the night. The center of this town used to whirl in the glow of twilight. It might look like God take away with all the trouble these days. We'll come home before the girls are grown. We're coming home tonight. What all have we done to run this country into such a sight? Stolen from our brothers like we couldn't find a fair enough fight. You wait on promise, you will say, you won't forsake the ash and clay. Let's come home before the girls are grown. Let's come home to fight. We want what's best for us, I know it has to come at a price. I also know the trouble that you find when you stop being nice. You look around you one day, what you once knew didn't stay. Let's come home before the girls are grown. Let's come home tonight. Have you ever asked a man to take your place on the head of the table? You could shut away your shame if in the end you found you simply weren't able. You might find out you could stay on the ash and on the clay. Come on home before the girls are grown. Come on home tonight. Come on home before the girls are grown. Come on home to fight.
Fantastic,
Thanks.
as always. I've asked some of our readers some questions for you guys, and what we try to do here is hear some music, let our readers ask questions. Martin Guitars graciously sponsors this little series we do, which we're very grateful for. You guys have only been together for a few years, but it sounds, you got the brother harmony thing down. Was it this instant connection when you guys met? What was it, back in 2011?
I think we met in 2009, very end of 2009.
You're like my Christmas gift, 2009. Big, tall, lanky, shaggy Christmas gift.
Yeah.
And what brought you guys together?
With no gift receipt. Initially I went to a show of Kenneth's, but then we didn't play together until 2010.
That was like 3 weeks later.
Yeah. But it was, I think a good way to illustrate our budding relationship is that I was getting married in June of 2010, and Kenneth was the last person invited to the wedding.
I didn't want to go. Felt sort of obligated, because we had just started a band.
Similar to the terms of the invitation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't know each other when the invitations went out, and by the time the wedding happened, it felt weird. If Kenneth wasn't there, it would have felt weird.
Yeah. And what was, I mean, you guys both had solo careers before this, sort of. You had solo records. Kenneth, yours were, I would say, very Milk Carton Kids-esque, although solo.
You think so?
I think so, more than, I mean, when I listen to yours, there's a
You
little bit
listen
more
to
pop.
it, you found him?
Yeah, why'd you do that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little more pop.
I thought about taking
influence
those
on yours.
down yesterday.
Yeah.
I think I'm finally going to take those down. They'll not be available by the time you read
By the time this shows up tomorrow,
I was going to take it down yesterday. I just spent the $50 renewing it.
I know. I took all but my most recent thing down.
I'm taking them all down. That's
Yeah.
it. You sealed the deal.
Just because you...
I took the oldest
It's your
one,
fault.
the oldest two
Sorry, people.
2 or 3 down.
Don't worry. It's generated about $90
All right.
in the last year.
Strings.
I've got to send that to Sony BMG.
But, I mean, was the connection...
Martin sends him strings now, so he doesn't
Oh,
need
he
the
doesn't even need that
$90.
money. So was the connection there, though, musically, like right off the bat? Or, were you just kind of exploring, seeing what would happen? It's not usual for duos to kind of form out of the blue, right?
I don't know if that's usual or not, but it was. Let's see. Yeah, I think it happened right away.
Yeah.
I think it happened on the first time we played together.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth put up a microphone like this. Well, I mean, it was only like this in that it was also a microphone. The microphone is not similar to that one. But he put up a microphone and we kind of played like this, sitting in a living room. And I think we liked the way it sounded. Actually, the thing I always remember about it is I hated the way it sounded while we were singing it, while we were playing together, while we played the first song together. I did not think it was good. And then hearing it back, then I was proved wrong.
How these days are Milk Carton Kids songs being written? Do you kind of work individually? I know you have a family. Do you kind of come together with lyrics and figure out what happens, or what's the process like?
Lately, it's been writing on this tour. We've set aside a handful of the days so far to sit down and write songs. Usually, it's not from scratch. Usually, there's some sort of an idea. There's got to be, we usually don't come up with an idea from scratch together. Although I guess that's happened too. But
yeah, those are pretty shitty songs.
I can't think of. I think Snake Eyes started that way. But then it took, Kenneth went away one day and wrote all the lyrics. But the music sort of came out of a brainstorm session that way. But usually I think the song has to present itself to one or the other of us, and then we can work on it together at any point after that.
Present itself. Like like a butler comes in and says, "Oh, Song is here to see you." No, that's some sanctimonious bullshit.
That's not how. That's the way it feels.
No.
How do you feel when
You've
you
got
write?
something rattling around your brain. You finally take the initiative to wrestle it to the ground.
No.
You sort it out. Yes.
Oh, that's how it feels to you?
Yeah. You feel holy about it, like somebody's speaking through you.
I wouldn't
take
have-
no credit. Thinks.
I wouldn't have said any of those things.
I mean, that's what you just said. It presents itself to you like it shows up in a
Yeah.
bag.
Well, no, it feels it
gets
does.
into your guest room and unpacks.
Well, it feels passive in that you can't. In that you just because you decide to sit down and take the initiative and wrestle something to the ground, as you say, doesn't mean that it happens. It seems to only happen when it wants to.
So it's not presenting itself to you.
Well, that's how it feels. And
I'm saying your
it's
analogy is not fair. When you say that, you seem to be saying that you can't take credit for it.
I don't see why that has to be the case. Presented itself to me.
Yeah, as if it's something else. It's born of you.
Right, but that's not how it feels. It doesn't feel accurate to say, I sat down and decided to write that song, and then I
need a
fucking
reality check then.
Well, what about you? You say you
think
wrestled
things
it
are-
to the ground. What is
you
it
think
that you're
things
wrestling
are
with?
coming into your, like coming in from outside, like an otherworldly thing is coming in?
It doesn't
No,
have to
it
be
can't.
from any
You
other
invented
world.
it.
Where does that come from? This
From
is
your
getting
brain.
metaphysical.
It's from your brain.
It's from your brain.
Just take some
Your
credit
brain
for
just conjures it up.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to
What
give
do you
all
think's
of the
running
credit.
that whole
You have to give
beanbag of
all the
yours?
credit to evolution. Then.
it. That's fine.
You're like a reductionist.
That's.
You're like a deterministic reductionist.
I'd be more comfortable you saying it
Well,
that
either way, you
than
don't
in
get
some
the-
spiritual way. It's coming at.
Either way, you don't get the credit, and there's nothing spiritual about what I said at all.
No.
But you
I
seem
found it to be obnoxious.
I clearly, as I found your response to be, mostly in that you completely failed to engage with what I was actually saying, and all you did was put your entire own reactionary philosophy against what you thought I was saying.
Let me distill
Into
it
the,
to put it to you
into
this
the
way.
work.
Did you not say that a song presented itself to you?
Yeah.
Like you had nothing to do with thinking it up in your brain?
No. The first part, yes. The second part, no.
Right. Well, you should choose your words more carefully.
Well,
Do you guys do this with actual lyrics too? Is there like the hard critique back and forth?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually more productive because Kenneth actually
I don't know
sometimes
about that.
knows what he's talking about
I
with
don't know
regard to
about
lyrics.
that. We're just waiting for something to channel themselves through Joey so that he can say something useful. And when that happens, it's all, raking the bucks, the big bucks.
Let's talk guitars for a minute. You guys have been playing these for a while. Do you have a backup?
No. As a matter of fact, I remember when this guitar found me.
There it is.
That was a fated
Ironically,
fated
this
day.
one's actually true. It
That
did
was-
find you.
That was
Joan
a-
Wilder.
That was a fateful day.
You have to go meet that woman. We have to film it in case she shanks you.
This was a gift from a fan, right?
Your worst quality is trying to take credit for shit that you didn't do.
What are you talking about?
And so it's totally ironic to me
Take
that you
credit
would
for
that
stuff
you
that
would
I
then
didn't do?
try and get other people to take credit for things that they don't feel wholly responsible for.
What do I take credit for that I don't do?
Oh,
That
almost
is-
everything.
That's pretty heavy.
Mhm.
Oh, this is
This
going back to
guitar-
that dinner in Colorado.
This guitar,
Yeah, we
no.
gotta talk about that.
No, this has not-
You missed that one.
This has nothing to do with that. Anyway, this guitar,
You just passed a major character judgment and then just moved on. I believe you should explain yourself.
well, you just said that you catch a song and wrestle it to the ground, like only you and your will and initiative has anything to do with whether or not you write a good song or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Because if I didn't do that, it wouldn't exist at all.
That's true.
That's
It
right.
is necessary, but
Yeah.
not. But my point is that it's not
Right.
sufficient.
The way
to
that you
process.
said, you don't have to be around. That song could
No,
just
not
park
at
its
all.
ass up some other bozo.
Not at all. It's absolutely necessary to do the work, but it's not at all sufficient.
No.
That's the big difference.
Well,
There's an element of inspiration.
sorry, this ridiculous topic is going to hijack your...
It is ridiculous because anyone that's ever written a song or had any other sort of creative output knows exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm sure that you feel it too.
Of course
I
I
don't
do,
know
but
what's
when
the-
you
the
say it
point you're
that
trying to
way,
make
it's ridiculous.
What's equally
It's
ridiculous to
ridiculous
say you
and
have
it's-
to sit down and write a song. That's obvious. That goes without saying. Stating the obvious. What's
Okay.
the point of that?
Yeah, but your false modesty there is obnoxious, as is everybody else that says it's revealed to me, it presents itself to me, it's showed up and did it. I mean,
That's the most
fuck you.
accurate way of describing what
No,
it
it's
feels
not.
like. It is.
Well, you gotta grow some balls.
Well,
Yeah, sure you're not brothers.
I mean, we haven't got the DNA test.
I
Look
fucking
at
hope not.
Look at it.
I fucking hope not.
Anyway, you should go into the story where the lady just gave you this $6,000 guitar. Just gave it to you. Didn't know yet.
That's not how much it costs.
And one day she's gonna come collect payment for it, and it's gonna.
Well,
come
she
in
was
the
a
form
big
of
fan of the album that I've recently taken down from iTunes. And I think I had about 150 or 200 friends on MySpace at the time, and she was one of them. And she wrote me one day on MySpace and asked me what my dream guitar was. And so, I thought it was just like
He said, I don't know. I'll know when it presents itself to me.
I said, I've been, you know, I was engaging at that point with a fan, and because she was like one of my 12 fans.
Sure.
And so I said, oh, you know, thanks for asking. I'm looking around now at late 40s, early 50s Gibson J-45s. And then a couple days later, she sent a link to an eBay auction, you know, and she said, like this one? I said, yeah, that's great. Are you know, figuring that she's shopping for a guitar for somebody, you know, for herself or whatever, and she wants to know what I think is a good guitar. And then when I look back at the auction, I see that she's won it. Like the name of the auction winner or whatever matches the part, like her email address in some way. And so I wrote her again and I said, I can't believe you bought that guitar. That's an incredible guitar. Congratulations. And she goes, it's not for me. Send me your address. And then I realized at that point I put two and two together.
You sent her. You were brave enough to send your address.
I sent her a neutral site address.
Okay.
And the guitar showed up a few days later, in tune, and it had a, you know, an LR Bags pickup in it, which I was using at the, you know, would have been the one that I would have put in at the time. I've since pulled it out. We don't need it anymore, but. Point is, it was some player's guitar somewhere, and it showed up in tune with the. I just went that night, plugged it in, played a show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to her or emailed with her since?
Not really.
Not really.
Not since she got the Joy Ryan tattoo on her back. It's just a big face. Joy's.
We don't know if that's true or not.
One day he's gonna pay for it, and I hope she doesn't. I hope I'm not standing between them when she comes with a knife.
You're the only one that keeps saying that in videos. So if she ever gets it in her head, it's because she watches these videos, and she's definitely going to include you in whatever vendetta you think she's cooking up.
You're telling me that if you die because she's crazy, it's my fault because
No,
I gave her
I'm
the
saying
idea.
you're going to die too.
She better bring me a guitar while she does it.
Speaking of which, tell me about the Martin.
I killed a man.
Kenneth built that Martin with his bare hands and invented it.
Yeah, I wrestled it to the ground. I bought it on eBay.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting story. It's not. It's a good guitar though. Martin right now is building me a new one. We'll
Same
see
style?
how it sounds. Yeah, we're doing it exactly the same way. I have a theory that the new guitars sound like shit because they're made by machines with really shitty materials. So they're making it by hand with the good materials, but the shittiest of the good materials.
Okay.
We'll see how it sounds.
We got a lot of comments about that thing, that
What
microphone.
do these people say? Who are these people?
Facebook people, Twitter people, email people. But yeah, one of the questions was just talking about the ear trumpet, right?
Yeah, that's Philip Graham down in Portland. Makes a great microphone.
And how did you guys sync up with him?
He sent us an email.
Yeah.
He emailed us one day. He said, "What's your dream microphone?" No, he said, I build these microphones. I'd love for you to try them."
Yeah.
And so we tried them out against. Before we started our tour a year ago, we tried them out against about 4 or 5 other combinations of microphones,
Yeah.
and liked these the best. And then so we were using 4 of them for a while. Well, 2 of these and 2 of a different model from him, and then now we just use the one.
The last comment gear related we kept getting was the handkerchief.
Yeah.
What's its purpose?
It's this guitar. It probably wouldn't do it right now because we're up in the Northwest. But this guitar has some fret buzz in certain places when I'm capoed up.
You might do it now. Why don't you
I
try it?
capo. It's not going to do it.
It might.
Well, because then we're going to deal with this whole tuning thing that we went through earlier, and we're in perfect tuning. But it wouldn't do it right now anyway. We spread the capos pretty far apart as much as we can, because we like how they sound together. But when you're up above 5 or something, there's a bunch of string waves up here, so it.
We first noticed it in a recording. We were recording one time. Kenneth always carries a handkerchief, so that was.
I remember that.
I can't remember exactly what we were doing, but we were recording something and the guitar was making that noise, and you were like, "What is that?" And you figured out that's what it was, and pulled the handkerchief out of your pocket and did that, and then just never stopped.
That's why you have a whole toolkit here. Handkerchiefs.
It's just 400 handkerchiefs.
That'd be pretty good if it was.
Do you have a new record in the works?
Yeah, we've been recording it on the road. We'll see how it turns out. We've got a few tracks now. Pretty good so far.
Do you guys ever get sick of the Simon Garfunkel and David Rawlings comparisons?
Yeah. No, I don't care. The Dave one bugs me when people are being trollish about it.
Do you guys know each other?
I can't really read that stuff. Yeah, we know Dave. I know Dave. Joey knows Dave. Dave played on his record that's still on iTunes. But Joey's got a bigger stomach for it. But I can't stand the comparison. That's Rawlings is a hero of mine on the guitar front. That guy, if that guy didn't exist in music, in contemporary music, we would be missing a really important voice in what guitar playing is and what arranging is. But when, I don't know, people write all kinds of shit on the internet when they say stuff that gets under my skin, so I stopped reading it. The Simon Garfunkel thing, that's totally fine by me. Those dudes can sing the shit out of a song.
If you're gonna be compared to folks, it's not a bad group of people to be compared to.
Yeah, but none of it really bothers me too much. I think that people, we're a folk harmony duo, and there have been folk harmony duos before, and it's pretty hard to make a folk harmony duo sound worlds different than any other folk harmony duo. So we're not inventing anything here sonically, or as far as the format is an old format. So I think we express ourselves, as personally, we express whatever is personal about it, I think, in the writing. And it's the sound and the aesthetic of it and the limitations of it sonically they're definitely not incidental, but they are, to me, secondary to the writing. The songs could take other forms. It's almost, not almost, it is accidental that we wound up in a folk duo. We didn't set out to start a duo. It just, we played together for the first time and it didn't sound like it needed anything else. So then when you're in a folk duo, people go, oh, well, how do these people compare to all of the other folk duos that have ever been? And at least they're naming the good ones when they compare us to them.
Totally.
Well, all Simon and Garfunkel ever wanted to be was the Everly Brothers, by the way, according to them. And then when they opened for them, it was like Paul Simon's head almost exploded when the Everlys were opening for them.
Was that in his Lloyd Christmas years?
Yeah.
You ever see it?
We just watched
side by side.
We just watched Dumb and Dumber on the bus, and then there was a big infomercial for a folk songs compilation, and it showed.
You got your phone in your pocket?
It showed Paul and Art in one of the years where Paul had the exact same haircut as Jim Carrey's Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber, and we all just started cracking up. Yeah, but those guys had to go through the 80s, so not many people emerged from that unscathed.
True. Well, I know you guys got a sound check. Let's hear one more tune. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, that was painless. Thought that was gonna be a lot worse.
It was quick, that's why.
You in tune, Buster? Let's see how this song presents itself to us.
I know.
I hope the spirit moves my fingers real nice.
Let's channel it for a second.
Channel your mom.
You're drawing it from a higher plane.
Swing low, for to carry me home, and fire the skies of red. My breath's gone cold, a kiss from the cold, a blanket of snow overhead. Slowly roller, it's just rock and roll. Hold your tears where they've hung all these years, down from the heavens above. Oh, snake eyes, you'd better disguise all that appears of thee. Pray for love from the heavens above, laid in the ashes below. Laid in the ashes below. Laid in the ashes below. Laid in the ashes below.